Okay, we are looking at my second scratch build airplane. Again, my take on a Tiger Moth biplane. The first model that I built was my first attempt, and although structurally it turned out pretty good, it ended up being just a little heavier than I wanted it to be. And the motor that I originally had, which was just a leftover 2200 kilovolt motor from my AXN floater jet, just did not get enough thrust to get that one off the ground. So I decided rather than trying to significantly decrease the weight, I would just take all the knowledge that I gained from building the first one and give it a second go. And as you can see, here she is. She is a good bit lighter overall. I was a little bit more judicious with the hot glue gun this time to try to save some weight. And I also did some little bit different building techniques this time to try to help just reduce the weight overall, and came out a good bit lighter. Overall dimensions are basically the same. The fuselage is 26 inches long. The wingspan is 30 inches. And I did also increase the chord of the wings. The original one had a 5-inch chord. These have 6. Another thing that I did was I pushed the lower wing back further. Originally the was 5.5 inches because I basically tried to keep it somewhat scale to help me be able to find the center of gravity relatively easy. But the problem was that I could not get a good balance on the original plane. It was always very, very tail heavy. So I decided to pull this wing back a little bit and therefore make it easier to balance the plane out overall. Another thing that I did, as you'll notice, I've got this little setup here for the landing gear. The original one, I just took some 1/8 inch steel rod and bent. It ended up adding a significant amount of weight to the model, but I wanted something structurally rigid enough to be able to take a couple of rough landings, but bouncy enough to absorb them as well. So I came up with this, which is basically just balsa that I've layered and basically made kind of trunnions out of. And then I went ahead and kind of gave it some springable capacity, as you can see. Another thing that I did was I increased the size of my motor. This is an 1100 kilovolt motor. Also increased the size of the prop. It's now an 8-inch by 4 degree pitch. And added a little cooling vent here so it would pull air in and help keep the control module cool. Again, using a pull setup for the rudder, and of course I've got my control arm for the elevator. This time I went with an aileron setup that I used the alternate channel on the Spectrum receiver. So I've got flaperon set up as well. I don't know if I need them or not, but I went ahead and set it on there just in case. Another thing that I did was I pulled the servos up more towards the middle of the plane, which would also help make it easier for me to find a good center of gravity. And as you can tell, I spent a little bit more time making this one look good, particularly if you look at the bottom of it. My daughter's actually found some really cool packing tape at Walmart that had some skulls and crossbones on it, so I couldn't resist, and went with the traditional checkered pattern on the bottom of the lower wing. And so there she is. I just did some test runs real quick just to make sure that the motor worked good, turned in the right direction, and I think I've actually got enough thrust here that I can almost do 3D flying with it. I just about let it take off from my hand vertically, so I don't think underpower is going to be an issue this time. So looking forward to giving its test flight, and just wanted to share with you guys what you can do with some Dollar Tree foam board and some popsicle sticks and a little bit of imagination. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and please feel free to leave comments.